I do not. I do not think that Longview has a problem with sexual violence. I know there are cases, I know it is present, but I don't think it is as rampant as it is in other schools. To be fair, those are larger schools, but I think for the scale of the size of our school, I don't think we have a problem.
Do not know. I would just go to the cops or go to like an adult that I'm comfortable talking to.
I think I would go to the police first.
Immediately tell campus police as soon as possible, and they would report it to whoever they report it to, I guess the Farmville police. I would do it as soon as possible so I can remember as many details accurately.
Saying yes or no. When someone says yes.
Something that's like a mutual agreement.
And a sober kind of verbal yes by both parties involved.
Maybe campus police.
I would go to the cops.
The police.
I do not know where to start. I would like try and get them to like talk about it if they wanted to, and then just like encourage them to like go tell the cops or like go to like the counseling center.
I would tell them to go to the police too.
What steps would I recommend? I definitely want them to talk. If they don't want to talk to a close friend or family, counseling is available on campus, or seek a personal counselor.
I'm probably not very comfortable, but I've never been in that situation.
Pretty comfortable with it.
Pretty comfortable.
I think it's probably easier on a campus than it would be in the real world.
Just be aware of everything that's going on around you and yourself. I guess just like don't get in situations that like you don't feel comfortable with, and like never go anywhere alone. Always have someone with you.
Make smart decisions to where you wouldn't be in a position like that in the first place.
You know you're in a safe place where you know people and you know what's going on.
We've had a few this year, but most of them have gone through the Title IX process.
Okay.
So that's where the majority of cases either originate, or if we do find out about it, we also report it to Title IX too, because there's two different investigations that go on. I think we've had last year we had 4 active sexual assaults that the police department was investigating.
We get reports of notice fairly frequently.
Okay.
Now, reports of notice could be any behaviors that fall under our sexual misconduct policy that affect students, faculty, or staff. Now, those reports of notice don't necessarily translate into cases. Sexual harassment,
Yes.
and there's 2 types in there. There's sexual misconduct, sexual discrimination.
Yep.
You've got intimate partner violence. You've got sexual assault, so rape, coerced sexual intercourse, as well as any unwanted sexual contact.
Okay.
And you've got retaliation then as well. And did I mention the stalking?
You did not.
Okay,
but,
stalking
that
as well.
was- Okay.
Yes.
Um,
So there's. Okay, consent is actually defined right in our sexual misconduct policy. We have a couple of kind of caveats to consent. The main pieces of things are that effective consent is basically a communication between 2 parties or multiple parties about what they do and do not want in terms of sexual activity.
Yes.
A couple of points to remember is that consent needs to be ongoing, that effective consent is active, not passive, that consent can be communicated verbally, but it can also be communicated via actions. But silence in and of itself does not communicate consent. So it needs to be an active back and forth with people, and so that there needs to be active consent going on. past consent does not imply future consent, and that consent can be withdrawn at any time.
Yes.
Okay. Additionally, consent cannot be given by someone that is incapacitated by alcohol, drugs, or any other means. And that consent, you have to be an adult, so 18 years of age and older to provide consent, and you have to have all of your faculties. So you cannot be in any way coerced. You can't in any way be impaired, and therefore unable to give consent.
We try to make sure that the victim gets medical treatment, they get any available resources that they need. If they need to be relocated in their housing, classes, that's the top priority.
They can do either. Reporting to LUPD will also then report to my office, and reporting to my office will, if they want to speak with LUPD, I will get them in touch with LUPD to do that as well. An immediate crisis situation, an emergency, we always encourage people to go to LUPD. They are the entity on campus that is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They are going to get an immediate response from LUPD. So if we're talking about an emergency or a crisis situation, we always encourage people to go with LUPD and contact them because first and foremost, we want to make sure that we've ensured someone's safety. For students, we offer a whole lot of resources. Some of our confidential resources are the Health and Wellness Center, any of the Student Health and Wellness Center staff, medical services, that sort of thing, completely confidential, and also resources that are available to students. Our counseling center staff, again, completely confidential. But that we have access to expedited counseling appointments, that sort of thing. We also have a cooperative agreement with Southside Crisis Center. So both Piedmont Crisis and Madeline's House, they all fall under the Southside Center for Violence Prevention.
Okay.
We have a cooperative agreement with them and they will provide services for our students, again, completely confidential, and there's a hotline associated there. So in the event that a student isn't comfortable coming to my office, isn't comfortable going to the counseling center, not utilizing any of the on-campus resources at all, we have off-campus resources that they can contact confidentially that we will never know about.
Okay.
So that we still have options for people regardless of where they want to seek those out.
Now it's either Lynchburg General or St. Francis, and we have it worked out with Central. Well, either they will supply transportation or one of our people will take them over there. Our investigator, if it's after normal business hours, will meet them over there also to try to just briefly talk to them, but just let them know what's going to happen, what we're there for, offer them victim resources, and then we turn around and keep them apprised of the investigation the best we can. Give us a call. We're here 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We will make sure that we get that person those resources as quick as possible. Like I said, we can start working the criminal side of things a day or two, maybe even a week later. We can look at, is there any evidence we need to gather right now? Is there anything we need to do for this person right now? Do they need to go have a SANE exam? Do they need the morning after pill? Do they need to talk to a counselor? We can get that rolling right away. If they don't want to do that, go to the nearest hospital, report to them. They will start the medical side of things. They will then notify us so that we can go and start picking up, from there. Either call us, or if it happens in in your local town, call the local police department or go to the nearest hospital. That's the best thing to do. And if you don't want to do that, reach out to one of the local sex abuse hotlines and contact them.
Them to come and report what they've experienced. We really want to make sure that they are being successful educationally.
Yes.
We want to see them succeed, and so we want to be able to do anything that we can do to help support them.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage people to report violations, report misconduct, and if they're not comfortable reporting that, to at least seek resources through our confidential resources, counseling center, student health and wellness, Piedmont Crisis, so that they can get whatever help they need to be successful. So if they're not ready to report, or if they don't feel that that's an option for them, that's fine. It's whatever they're comfortable with and whatever will help them in their healing process. So if they're not ready to report, that's okay. But I really encourage them to at least seek out some of our resources so that they can begin that process.
Yeah.